we are going to do the Unit 4 map right now. So if we remember, the last unit was geometry and the American tour. And our current unit is going to be division and one-step equations. So, geometry and the American tour, division and one-step equations. And our next one, fractions, decimals, and percents. There's not a lot of room there, but I'm confident you can do it. Okay, so I'm going to divide this not in half, but kind of like 2/3 in one. You can see right here the line starts there. Okay, so on this side we're going to look at division. Okay, now for division we're going to have three different things to look at. And we're using two colors, you don't have to. The first one, I'm going to talk about when do we estimate. Okay, when do we estimate? I just want to know, when is accuracy important? So when do we estimate, and when is accuracy important? And just like a side one to think about, how is it related to multiplication? And this one is just kind of its own thought, so I'm going to give it its own thought bubble. Okay, so division, three things. This one is by itself, and now we're going to look at these two. Now when we estimate, first of all, when do we estimate? And then I want to look at to what value. Are we estimating to the ones, to the tens, to the hundreds, to the hundredths? I don't know. And now, with accuracy, we have two types of being accurate. One we have with remainders. So sometimes remainders are okay. Other times we want to look with decimals. And of course, I guess there is one more here. We have whole number answers. But in those we don't actually have to decide, it's more of deciding with these two. So with remainders, we have our whole number answer, and here with decimals, we have to figure out to what value. Again, are we going to the tenths, the hundredths, the thousandths? So there's our division side. So our title is Division One-Step Equations. Now we're going to look over here at equations. With equations, we're going to look at two areas rather. First of all, I want to look at how do we use them. So we have to learn basically how to do them, how to use them, how to solve them, and then not just how, but the question we should always ask, why? Why do we use them? Okay, so we have how and why, and with these we're going to learn also when we use them, but that will come. So let's do this side right here. Why do we use them? To represent real life situations. So the main reason equations even exist is because real life situations or real life rules can be represented by that, and this will also help us with problem solving skills. If you understand how real life situations can be represented by equations, it will help you solve problems easier. Okay, now let's go here. How do we use them? How do we use them? So we're going to use them. That should be red, but it's all right. In math, well, for 5th grade, we're only going to look at solving one-step equations. So there are multiple types of equations: multi-step, two-step, one-step, three-step. We're just looking at one step. And to solve these one steps, we're going to need something called inverse operations. Inverse operations. If you don't know what that means right now, of course you could always Google it or YouTube it, but we will learn it. And for this unit, we are concerned only with addition and subtraction. Subtraction. So there is our equation map. So we have two parts to this unit, and there are both parts. What is the point? First of all, you may not realize it, but we do divide almost every day. Think about when you play soccer. You want to make teams. If there's 14 people, obviously 7 and 7, but if you had no idea how to divide, that would be difficult. If there's 15 people, the teams are not 7.5 people and 7.5 people, then you have that remainder one person to go to one of the teams. If you're splitting food with someone, like a bag of chips, you usually want about half and half, but you're not going to measure the size of the chips and give someone exact, so that would be an estimating situation. Alright, and for equations, they help us solve rules. We don't have room for that, but they help us solve rules in real life. For an example, my brother is 7 years older than me. He will always be 7 years older than me. So when I am 20, he is 27. When I will be 40, how old will he be? Okay, the rule is just add 7, so he'll be 47. We can also figure out when I was 3, how old was he? Well, 3 plus 7, he was 10. So we can actually represent that with an equation that works for every year. So our keywords, two easy ones: multiplication and division. Those are vocabulary words because we need to make sure we know exactly what they represent. We're also going to have remainder, accuracy, and estimation. You may know all of those, you may not, but I want to know exactly what they mean. We have two things called expression and equation, but also variable. These three are related. These three are related. These two are related. And we're going to learn about balance beam and how that relates to an equation. We're also going to learn what that means. And then inverse operations. Okay? So there are all of our key words or vocabulary words. Now, our last section is essential questions. We're going to have 3. Our first one, I want to know, when do we estimate? When do we use remainders? And when do we need accurate answers? Paper's moving on me. Okay. So when do we estimate? When do we use remainders? And when do we need accurate answers? Next, I want to know, can every equation be represented by a real life example? So if I give you an equation, is it possible that it has a real life example? And lastly, not about real life, but how will this unit help us in our future math lives? So is this unit important for 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, high school, college? We'll look at that too. So the entire thing right here, if you need to catch anything, you can pause. Just go really quick through everything. All set.